Madam Mayor. What are we working on today?
This backsplash of duckies.
Oh, you don't like the duckies?
The duck's gotta go. Duck, duck, go.
Duck, duck, go. Yeah, the colors don't match anything, really. I don't mind the ducks. But
yeah, it doesn't match at all.
yeah, so what did you get to replace it?
So I was looking around when we were in Lowe's and I saw that they had these peel and stick with like an acrylic kind of design on there, which the design was nice. They also had ones with like faux stone and they were peel and stick as well. If you're not going to do the real deal back one with the mud and everything. So, but they wanted like somewhere between $7 and $10 for these little sheets. So even to do an area this small would still cost a bunch of money at those prices. So I went and looked on Amazon. Everybody reverts back to Amazon. And they had a bunch that were peel and stick small too that were cheaper than Lowe's, but still I didn't want to spend that. But I found these huge ones that were 12 by 12 peel and stick, and it's a thick glossy sticker, and there was a 10-pack for $20.
Oh.
So I said I can make this work, because originally we were also talking about doing that back area over here too.
Yeah, so this is the area that we just recently painted, because it was a mauve rose color just like the bathroom was. And we painted it over the same color white that's in the bathroom and that front bedroom. They're all the same color white. And we found the paint on sale as a knockoff, where people get mixed paint and then they stick it on a shelf if they return it. So it's $15 for a gallon of paint, and we still have some left over. And we painted like three different rooms, but not the whole room, just 3 accent walls. So, yep. So anyway,
So
on that.
this, I held it up. Look how nice that's gonna look.
Yeah, the colors are perfect.
And then with what we have left over, we can attempt to hit this area, which we probably can, because you still don't even use the full sheet over here.
Yeah.
So I think we can get that too.
Yeah, and I would start on this end because work your way behind the fridge. Because if you run out of sheets, you don't really have to finish it if it's behind the fridge. But we do have a small section here that goes beyond the fridge, so you want to make sure to get that. But we'll get that part last, because one day we will replace this refrigerator, and there's a good chance that the newer refrigerators are bigger and will cover that space anyway.
And to me, that white, I think, looks pretty good there.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad.
Of course, now that I'm looking at it, I still see that little strip of pink
Yeah,
that I don't like.
you can. It's
So I think I'm going to have to go buy a tiny little paintbrush for that.
Yeah, that's really hard to get without getting paint all over everything except what you're trying to paint.
I didn't have a brush small enough to get it
so
when
that
we
might
were doing
be
it. So
that'd be a touch-up project.
I'm still going to do that, and I see a tiny little bit of pink at the bottom I need to hit again.
Okay.
But that to me is okay if we keep it that color, but I think over here is more important for sure.
Yeah, I think that'll really look nice.
Because it's going to look nice.
The colors, if you look, they tie in, the lighter colors tie into the cabinetry and the countertops, and the darker wood kind of pulls from the log. You can see the log there kind of pulls in too, so they match nicely. Different shades of brown.
The quality is thick, so that makes it easy to wipe clean and keep everything nice. It's not like a cheap thin little sticker.
And it'll be easy to cut with just an X-Acto knife.
Or a pair of scissors even.
Or maybe, yeah. Mm-hmm. So this is our
I'm excited.
Little project. So we're going to start with the island first. So we have to get all this stuff cleared off out of the way. And then we'll have to pull the covers off so that we can cut around the plugs that are there in the light switch. But it's a nice little cold day inside the cabin project that we're going to get started on today. We don't know if we'll finish, but we'll go as far as we can.
I'm sure we'll finish. This is a small area.
It is, but it's a lot of intricate little things.
We'll finish.
All right. We'll see how that goes. So how is it coming?
Okay.
Just okay?
Yeah. Well, it's hard to measure. I need a ruler. Would be ideal.
Yeah. We have a lot of things, but a simple thing like a ruler we don't have. We're using a tape measure. Yeah, it's not ideal. I might have a square out in the toolbox, but I don't know if that's going to help much either. It's not like...
Keep shaving it because a ruler would be a little bit more accurate.
Yeah. Yep. It looks like it's coming along.
Yeah.
Just keep plugging at it, huh?
I guess
A little
so.
frustrating. It's like your little project, like a arts project. Is this your art project?
Without a ruler.
Without a ruler. I know we used to have a ruler. I don't know what happened to it. Is it in a box somewhere?
No. Probably
Gave it away. Oh, thinking we would never need another ruler.
Yeah, because we were going to live in an RV and travel around.
Yeah. Okay, I'm checking in on you to see how things are going. Looks like you're sitting down on the job if you if you ask me.
Time.
Break time? Union break?
Yeah.
You think you're at the post office or what?
I wouldn't be sitting down if I was.
That's true. Okay, what you got going here?
So it looks way better, I can say that. The dilemma is that these have to fit pretty perfect. So nothing is square in a house ever. So when you have to manipulate them a little bit, you have to do little shaving around, and it's a lot of tedious shaving. And of course, everything comes from China with no instruction for anything, so you kind of got to figure it out as you go. So the thing I'm noticing is it's not always a smooth light, like sometimes like right here, which you can't really see, but I know it's there and it overlaps a little so it doesn't sit flush. There's just oddities when everything isn't square.
Right.
So, but it looks better than these geese, ducks, whatever they were.
The blue geese. The
I'm
blue
absolutely
ducks. I don't know what they are.
happy with how it is looking. It's just very tedious.
And then it has a plastic film on it too. And we're not sure if that plastic film is supposed to be pulled off or is it supposed to stay. Because,
Yeah, like
again,
over the top, it's a clear.
Right.
But yeah, with no instruction, you don't know. But I can tell you that when you trim it, because it's a 12-inch sheet anyway, and you're trimming it, that clear starts peeling up from the bottom as soon as you trim it.
Oh, wow.
So it's going to end up peeling off for sure. But I don't think it should be a problem because it is a vinyl piece.
And it's just a clear coat. I guess if you were to pull it off ahead of time, how do you think that would look or how it would lay down? Do you know?
I don't.
So I guess trial and error.
So it's just another little fun project, but it is tedious.
Yeah.
But I do like the result.
Yeah, we are nitpicking a little bit, but I mean, when you get in there real close, but once it's done, you're not going to be doing that.
Yeah,
you know?
and you can't really see it. Like I said, I know.
Right, because you're doing it.
Because I'm doing it, but anybody else would walk in and would never have seen that.
The imperfections, right.
But, and, from a distance, so don't be coming in here with a microscope.
No, I'm not. I think it looks great. Because the closest you're ever going to get to it is probably 2 to 3 feet. Like where I'm standing, it looks great.
Well, that's good. Keep up that attitude.
In order to see anything, you really have to get in like within a foot, and you really have to point it out. Because I wouldn't have seen that stuff.
So I'll just quit pointing these things out then, is what I'm hearing I should do.
Yep. So we'll check back in with Therese and see how this is going.
I better not back up too much. It might end up
Yeah,
down
watch
there.
out. That's a very short counter you got there.
Guess break time is over now.
Break time is over. Cracking the whip. All right, it looks like we went late into the night, but we just made us some pizza.
And, I told you we'd be finished today.
Yeah, we are finished today. And in the background, you can see there I finished that light too. So even if that light comes before or after this video, you'll see that in this video it's done. So anyway, back to our mission at hand here. That looks really nice. Remember the blue ducks or swans, whatever they were? Geese. But it came out really good. I mean, there's some imperfections if you look really close.
So don't look close.
We're not going to look close, but like over here at the end around this light, we pieced together some stuff because we didn't want to cut into a new sheet because we have to do another. We're going to do this wall over here, starting behind this air fryer. We're going to go across here. So we didn't want to.
I'm going to have to order more.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to order at least one more sheet. Do you think just one more or two?
Packs?
Packs.
Just one.
Just one, okay. All right, and then we had a few left over. How many, you got it handy? How many are left over?
2 full sheets and a bunch of...
You can just lay them on the counter there just so everybody how much was left over. So we started this project and we just did this island here.
There's
and then
2 sheets.
These are not full sheets, but they're cut nice. So these are not full sheets, but these are little partial sheets. And we didn't want to have to cut into a new one. It looks like there's
8.
Oh, there's 8 of these. So that's pretty good. And then this is how they come. They come in these full sheets. And then you piece them together. Now if they're machine cut from factory, they fit, they fit really nice right here. But when you cut them, then you're going to have to
There's 7.
Oh, there's 7.
8.
So we have 7 or 8 pieces of those little ones. And then we have 2 more big sheets. And then we're going to order another pack. How many come in a pack? 10? So we'll have 10 more of these. And that should be enough.
It will be.
Okay.
This can be a lot of left.
And this whole thing was 20 bucks. And that's what it looks like.
And guess what? There are
Oh,
instructions.
yes. The correction to what we said earlier. No instructions. We did find instructions.
Yeah. Flip it over.
Yeah, on the back.
It's on the back.
So that was our goof. Our goof. We didn't read.
Very nice. They come in a very nice...
Yeah, it's a little like a portfolio kind of thing.
Yeah, I just didn't look at the back.
Yeah, so there you go. And the little film, the clear film that's on the front, we did read in the instructions that peels off. So we did go and we peeled it all off. And it looks really good, I think.
It does. I love it.
For 20 bucks, it's great. And we're going to spend another 20 bucks. So it's going to be 40 for the island and for the wall behind me here. So I think it's going to make that back wall really pop. I think it'll look really nice.
Want it to pop.
Yeah, it's got to pop. I think the colors blend well. It brings in all the tones of brown in the room because you got to remember you're going to be up against the log exterior over here, so you're going to be trying to match the dark brown, and then the counters are a really light brown, but then the cabinets are like a medium brown. And you have all of that spectrum in this, and it looks really good. Even the white gives it some contrast. So I think the colors worked out really well.
Pop. Pop.
You like that? Make it pop. Make it pop.
Pop.
All right, well, that wraps up this DIY. We'll catch you on the next one.
Bye-bye, geese.
Bye-bye, geese. All right, new day, new project, or new day, old project?
Kind of both. I guess it's a new, oldish project.
Oh, so before we get started, though, I have to ask you about your hat.
Okay.
It's kind of cute. You're indoors, you're wearing a hat, like you should be outdoors. But your hair goes through. Tip your head. Your hair goes through the hat. So did you cut that hole, or was it made that way?
It's made that way.
Oh, I had not noticed that.
Nowadays, you can get beanies, ball caps, everything that your hair goes through.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, I guess you don't have to worry about it with your hair.
With no hair. When you're bald, you have fewer problems.
That's right.
Just sunburn. They have hats for that.
They do.
So, continuing our project. So, as you know, we're working on the project on the island there. We're doing the same project over here. Now, we're going to run out of material because we only got the 2 sheets here, 2 full sheets, and then we got 7 or 8 partials here. But we're going to go as far as we can. We're going to start over in this left corner. And you'll see there what I've done is I've spray painted the curves because we're not going to try to cut these tiles around those curves. That would just be too much. A little tedious. And I don't even know that you would even notice it back there. You have to bend over to see underneath the counter. So I'm bent over right now. So standing up, you don't see it anyway. So, but we want to make it as close as we can. So I had some brown paint and I just painted it. And what we'll do is we'll run these right over the paint up to where the logs start to curve, and we'll call it good from there. But the idea is to get across here, but we're not going to make it very far because we don't have that much material. Now we've ordered more material, but it'll be a few days before it gets here. But we decided to go ahead and start on the project, and we'll see how far it gets us. How far do you think we'll get? To the microwave or past the microwave?
Probably about in the middle.
Somewhere in there?
Yeah.
So I know what some of you are going to say, wow, look at this dated stove. It is, but you know, it's probably 30 to 40 years old, and you know what? It still works. Do you think if we went and got a stove today, if it would work 40 years from now?
Nope.
Nope. And you know what's good about this stove? There's no digitals to it. If a burner goes out, that's the only thing that can happen, and those are readily available. So the good thing is it's old style. Nothing can really break on it. We had a stove, a double Dutch oven at the campground, and what happened? The circuit board went out, and what happened? You lost everything. I mean, if you lose the brain center, you lose the entire thing. And how much did they want for a new one? Like $1,100. That's how much the whole stove costs.
Well, that whole stove was more than that because
Yeah,
it's
probably.
the double oven with the convection and all that.
So probably around $2,000. But the board still is half the cost of a whole new stove. Isn't that ridiculous?
Pretty much.
And all it takes is a voltage spike or anything to
blow it out.
To blow it out. Yeah.
Because that's how it happened.
Yeah. So, and that happened to several things there. As we later learned and found out that
even the dishwasher got blown out, but we never used the dishwasher, so we didn't even know it.
Yeah, we didn't even know it. But we lost the stove. We lost the refrigerator would just trip off. So it never really got hit. I'm trying to think. Breakers were popping all the time, but it was sporadic. It would hit. It'd work for a month, and then they'd start popping again. Found out that it was the old antiquated transformer on the pole. So Central Florida Electric came out and did a test. They put a thing on the meter box, and you're not to touch it, of course, for 3 or 4 days. They come back, they take it off, they read it, and they figure out the problem, if it's them or if it's us. Well, guess what? They said they'd let us know, and they never did. But they came out and changed the transformer. So what does that tell you? All right, this is how far we got with the material we have. We've used the 2 whole sheets here, and we had cut some little pieces out to go around the microwave. But we can use some of these extra sheets here until we get new sheets to kind of fill in the half sheets. In other words, like here's a half a brick. So you could do a half brick sheet in here, and I might be able to fill that in with one of these. And then back here on the end, where I have the painted squares, that almost looks like a brick by itself, doesn't it? Right here, I'll point with the scissors. These little spots, we could cut some pieces of these little bricks out and fit them in, and maybe even cut the curves on them, because we could fill that in and make it look pretty nice with these pieces. But that's as far as we can go as far as whole sheets. So we got to wait for the other sheets to come in the mail.
Don't give me no sheet, mister.
Okay, what do we got going on this morning?
Well, we got to finish this backsplash because there's been a little gap in between because we had to order more, then we went on the road, and it's a nice rainy day, so time to finish this little bit and behind the fridge. And I still have to paint this small little strip over here where there's some
Oh.
duckies.
I wouldn't have even noticed that.
I know, but you know, there's still paint left in the bucket, so might as well hit it.
Okay.
And over here, another spot you probably wouldn't notice is there's a little thin strip of pink right there I want to hit. Probably not going to worry about that little bit up there because if you're looking up there, you're too tall and you might as well be cleaning all the high spots in my house
really
and if you're that
either.
tall. But I'm going to do this little strip at least.
And so you're going to bring the backsplash over to here?
I don't know. What was your idea? Because I don't know that there's going to be enough in that packet to do the hole behind the fridge.
Yeah, it wouldn't. I would just do the part that you can see.
Right.
But I don't even know if that's the case. So we'll look at that.
I mean, I think we'll have a lot of backsplash left over. But
Okay, it took a little bit of doing because the walls and the cabinets, they're not exactly square. And so you got a lot of trimming, go back, retrimming. I think it was like 10 times I put it up there and retrimmed.
yeah, I did a horrible job when I did it. So I fired myself and hired Brett because he's way better at that.
I don't know about that.
Well,
But once you get
patience.
it as close as you're going to get it,
Need a lot of patience
then
for
you
this.
have to, then it's a sticky back, so you peel it off. And then we have found that because of this paint, the surface of the paint, and when it gets cold, it doesn't like to stick. So what we're doing is we're putting on some Elmer's glue, is it?
Just
Just a thin coat of Elmer's glue on the back, so it will adhere better. Now, it does fine in warm temperatures, but we don't keep the house very warm. The house can be as cold as 55, 60 degrees in the wintertime, and so
I don't have a definitive answer whether it has anything to do with the temperature or if it's just not good enough adhesive on this self-adhesive.
it could be,
I
yeah.
don't know that.
I thought we saw some of it popping off when it was colder.
Well, that just happens to be when we hung it.
So this is the peel back. You have to be careful not to rip it.
Keep making sure I have it aligned right. I still have to put glue on it.
Okay.
It's a process.
But we're showing the process in case any of you want to do this at home. It is an inexpensive alternative to real backsplash where you're using grout.
Or even the sticky stuff that they sell at Lowe's.
Yeah.
That's 3D.
It's kind of the glass stuff, yeah.
Acrylic, I think some of it is. Then they have some that's real and yada yada. It's gonna take some time. Makes you feel like you're in elementary school again.
Yeah.
Gluing a project.
Well, there's not that much left to do, so.
Thank you, Jesus.
This is a project we've been wanting to get done for quite a while, actually. Do you put any in the middle?
Yeah, but
Okay.
this hurts your hands squeezing the bottle out of this little thing. So I got old mail delivery hands. This would work better if you had the glue that you can apply with the brush.
Yeah.
So I recommend anybody doing it.
This is glue.
Do that.
This is glue that we already had. So if you don't have glue and you're buying glue, then we wouldn't get this glue.
Yeah.
Get something with a brush or something that wipes on with a sponge. But this is glue we have had for a while. Who knows how old it is?
Probably as old as some children when I had to buy some school supplies or something.
Yeah, so we always like to use up our other stuff. We're not we're not people that like to throw good stuff away just to get different stuff. So, thrifters.
Okay, now the fun part.
All right.
Finger painting.
Smooth it all out and then stick it up there.
Really try to make sure it's on the corners good. Now that we've had our finger painting fun, to wipe off my fingers so it doesn't stick to me.
All right, let's see how good you are.
Let's see how good you are. See how good your trim job was. Well, that's not the right side. Doo-doo-doo. Fit it in there like a puzzle piece.
Looks good from here.
Yeah, like I said before, if you see a problem, back up. You're looking too close. And there's gonna be a lot of like a little void, but when you're standing up looking, you don't see that.
You
You
don't
only
see
see that if you're all up in here, and I don't know who's ever gonna be all up in there. Unless you're cleaning my house, and so far I haven't seen the maid show up, so. Just make sure if there's any glue coming out the edges that you wipe it off.
All the bubbles and the air bubbles. Looks good. And then we're just trying to go over to the edge of the counter there.
Yep. So we will have leftover tiles in case there's accidental things in the future, which I wish I would have known about because we did some riggy cuts over there. Well, one more thing off the list and 5 more to put on.
No.
Oh yeah, that's the way it works, don't you know?
No, it's one more off the list, period.
Oh, sure it is. So we finally finished the backsplash and a little bit of painting to go on. You want to check out the finished product?
So here's our backsplash. And it's a lot better than just the plain painted wall, which is what was there. And we decided to just end it here at the counter and go straight up to the cabinet there, so that's the end.
Yeah, because this is already painted white over here. I just did that little white strip up there.
So that little strip there is done now. It looks a little better, a little cleaner. And then over here, that little piece, Therese knocked that out.
The little pieces that Brett said I never noticed.
Yeah. And then here's the island piece. This was already done, but I just kind of wanted to show you the finished product. So we cleared the cabinet off here with all our junk so you guys could just see the finished product. We have accent lights under the countertop there. And there's a little remote control that goes to that. We just set it right here so you can just push the button and it turns off. And that's the end, finally, of the Backsplash DIY project, Madame Mayor's Adventures. Thank you for joining us for another great project. On to the next adventure.
Wait till you see the 5 next ones.